I've been trying to meet him, but at first it refused to connect, but I think now the problem is sorted.
You are now unmuted.
There's an echo. I can't hear you clearly.
Oh, Jensera, can you try rejoining BBB because Caroline has managed to join there.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah, try it. I think it had a problem early on, but now I think it's working because I've also been able to join.
Okay.
Caroline, is everything okay?
Yes.
Right. We having trouble connecting, and thankfully is now up and working. Yeah, so what I wanted us to look at is to review what we looked at in staffing and then check a few question papers so as to update ourselves and see what we have left that is undone. The conferencing applications sometimes give problem because even the other one, the Kenneth-based BBB, is also a challenge connecting with you guys. Able to set up, but I wonder why it cannot connect. But anyway, thankfully this one is working. Jensera, have you been able to join?
Yeah, it's possible now.
It is working, eh? All right. Okay, then. Or you hear me from the Google because I've not seen your name registering on the other one, on the BBB.
It's that right now I have a problem, but I'm joining in like a minute.
Okay, all right. But if you could hear me from the Google one, you can have those two conferences going on. Because the Google one is just needs the sound only, just the audio. And
Yeah.
so if you join this other one, you'll be able to see a display of those notes on HRM, that is staffing function, as we go through them, and then I'll present a few questions there for us to check. So just to remind ourselves that staffing was, according to what we had covered early on, it relates to the managing human resources in organization. And in the management process, we started by looking at planning, and then we organized activities. And now it is important that once you have identified jobs in organization, it is imperative to look for people who will fit into those jobs. So most importantly is to identify those talents that will function on those areas that have been identified. In an organization situation, we have it that you have functions that are to be done. Let's take, for example, you're talking about a transport company or a transport and logistic firm, for example. You'll find that you'll have drivers to drive the trucks. You'll have a transport manager. You have a mechanic, somebody to check those trucks, whether they are in the right order. You'll need a department of finance or accounting, if, for example, you're transporting goods to people or being part of a human transport, that is a passenger transport vehicle. You'll need all those aspects so as to run your organization. So in organization design, you create those positions, but in staffing function, you populate those functions with the right people with the right skills. And we say that there are processes that are important for any human resource activity to take place. And these processes, we had looked at them. Foremost, we say that human resource management or staffing function has got aims or objectives. One is to get people to serve in those positions. It also has the objective of taking care of personnel issues, that is the issues affecting employees. Because as much as you need people to do the work or the jobs or perform roles, they also have, you are dealing with people, you are not dealing with machines. Machines just need servicing. People need greater servicing. You need to care for their needs. And then also to link organization to the strategies of human resource. And of course, development of human resources. As much as you bring people to the organization to do a particular job or to undertake certain responsibilities, also you need to be able to improve them. What are the opportunities that they'll have to develop or to improve on their skills so that they become better? How do you enable them to grow from the level of entry-level position to higher level in their career? So all those are important aspects that need to be taken into consideration. So these are the kind of things that we are looking at. So when we came to the process of personnel management or human resource management process, there are areas that we had looked at, and we talked about the first aspect was human resource planning or manpower planning. That's an old-fashioned name, manpower, but it's also known as human resource planning activities. So what is important here in human resource planning is to identify the supply, looking at the supply and demand sections of human resources. Supply and demand, why are these two important? You need to know what are the demands for jobs in your organization. To check on demand for job in terms of what are the positions that are available. Maybe a company tries to expand its production activities. Let's say, for example, a restaurant, for example, they have a capacity of 100 seats, for example, but they want to expand to 150. It means that they cannot just remain the same. They will have to have structural adjustment, increasing space, increasing input, maybe financial and material input, but also this organization will also have to increase manpower. You'll have to recruit maybe hello. Sorry, there was a slight disconnection, okay? Hi, there was a slight disconnection. So what I've been saying is that as much as you need structural adjustments, also you'll need adjustment on human resource up front as well. You'll have to add more people so that they can be able to undertake those roles. So those are demand section. Supply section, you look at qualifications of people who are there in the market. For example, can you find qualified people to fill the vacant positions? That is the supply section. So it is important to look into that. So the objective of manpower planning or human resource planning is to obtain and retain the quantity and quality of people an organization needs. So in many cases, firms, HR department, for example, is determined to get the right people and maintain them so that they are able to give their best to the organization. Then, of course, it's being able to anticipate the future needs in terms of potential surplus and deficit of human resources. So in human resource planning, there are key aspects that we're going to look at. One is job analysis. Now, job analysis refers to collection and recording information about jobs in an organization. So what you need to do are you look at organization structure, you look at the organization design. What are some of the roles that are available in the organization? What kind of roles are they? Like we have mentioned about transport and logistic firm. What are some of the roles to be performed there? We mentioned a restaurant, we mentioned hotels, for example. What are some of the roles? What are the requirements as far as the jobs in terms of tasks and responsibilities? So we look into that. In a good job analysis, it must consist of job description. Job description encompasses those duties that are performed in a job. Like, for example, you hire a driver. What are some of the duties that they are supposed to do? You hire a chef, for example. What are some of the roles they are supposed to play? You hire maybe a public relation officer. What are their responsibilities? So one thing that you'll find as far as roles are concerned is that each and every job has got duties and responsibilities. So these are some of the things that you need to take into consideration. So in any job advert, for example, you find that there are their job descriptions. Another key aspect of job analysis is job specification. Now, specifications identify the right candidate in terms of qualification. So you find that as much as they tell you about responsibilities of a job, they also tell you who is the right candidate to perform this particular job. So job specification focuses on the applicant. And that applicant will tend to have the requisite skills that make them relevant for that particular job. So those two are very important in job analysis. Maybe I can I want to try to check if I can find a specific job so that we can. Yeah, I've got one here I want to share with you so that we can be able to check. Let's look at this particular role. I want us to look at this customer service executive. What kind of, so that we can be able to take a note of. I hope you are able to see customer service executive so that we can be able to see whether, let me expand it a bit. Just a moment, I'm putting it through. So I'm going to, it's not willing to share that page, but I'm going to copy paste for you on a page so that you are able to see. But so let me paste it somewhere so that you can be able to see it, what we are talking about. So in a moment you're gonna see it, what I'm talking about as so just a moment. So what we are talking about as far as job analysis is concerned is about job description and job specification. So this is actually, I've just copy pasted what I had there, customer service executive. And you can see the details of the company that as advertised, that is 610 Courier. That is the company that has placed that advert. And they just tell you where the job is supposed to, what the job is entails, customer service and support. And the company is in shipping and logistics. So like in a transport and logistic company. Now, it gives you the job summary that is summarizing what the particular role is responsible. Now, then the minimum, this is just the summarizing the job description and the job specification. Now, job description in details is what I'm sharing right away. And I believe you're able to see it. Yeah, you can see it. Now, for that particular role, customer service executive, these are the responsibilities that they're supposed to undertake as far as this job is concerned. As we can see, this is an entry-level job. You find that most people who have left college or maybe have a short experience, maybe on internship, may be able to get such kind of a job. So you find that responsibilities like managing all incoming calls from clients, creating accounts for partners, communicating to clients and partners on new products and services, providing daily report on incoming calls, following clients on collection of their parcels and what have you. So this is mostly an entry-level job, jobs that you people can get to start with. So this is job description, is describing the responsibilities of a role of a particular job. Let me show you the ideal person, that is the job specification. Job specification are these, for example, that the technical skills that this person requires, diploma in communication and marketing. So you find that you can see the academic qualification. Someone with a diploma in communication or marketing, like those who are doing business management or even supply chain, they can be able to do that. Someone with a degree in business communication marketing will have an added advantage. So the entry level requirement is diploma, but if you have a degree in that same area, it's still okay. Then another thing is excellent communication skills, that you are able to communicate well, proficient in typing and writing, those kind of things. That is computing. Computer skills, Word, PowerPoint, just the normal aspects that we use, accuracy and speed in tasks, and 3 years experience in managing call centers and clients online. So this is entry-level jobs. So you find that this now describes the candidate. That's what we call job specification, as I was telling you about. So you find that any company seeking for people to fill the job, they need to have proper job analysis, and that identify the 2 key areas. We'll be reverting to this as we get further down the human resource management process. Is there any question up to that point? Right. If there are no questions, I think I'm going to revert back to where we were, so that we can be able to proceed on. So the second step after job analysis is determining or forecasting demand and supply of labor. For example, forecasting demand and supply. This is important in determining how many people are required in the organization to undertake the various roles. Then what is the labor supply in terms of how many people are out there that we can look for who are qualified for the job we want to give them. So that's a very important aspect. The last step is matching demand and supply of labor. In other words, you determine the opportunity, the positions that you have, or like, for example, you can look at how many people are retiring, how many people are being laid off, how many employees get out of the organization due to maybe natural attrition or death or something like that. So how many get out? So then it will help you. So mostly human resource management take that average, because you find that people move on. Like if they are in this organization, they get a better opportunity elsewhere, they have to move to that position. So you need to focus that demand. And then again, it's important to look at the supply side. For example, are there people who are qualified to fill those vacant positions? And are they in adequate numbers? Are they enough to be able to fill those positions? There are sometimes you might have, an organization might have a vacancy which they find trouble to fill, especially realizing that they don't have the right person who can match the position. And so sometimes you find that a job has been re-advertised a second time. So those are very important aspects. Now, for human resource managers, these are very important area. In fact, most of the HR departments, the key aspect, the key area that they really work on thoroughly is that job analysis, forecasting demand and supply, and matching those demand and supply. That's why they will tell you that they are looking for a person who is suitable for the specific role in an organization. So whether it is a hospitality industry, hotel and restaurants and what have you, whether it's in transport and logistics, whether it's in a consulting firm, whether it's in a school or a university or in a manufacturing sector, mostly the key aspects that human resource planning activities are job analysis, planning demand and supply, and matching those two. Step number 2, we said, this one I won't dwell on it as much because we already know what recruitment is. Recruitment is not hiring. Recruitment is announcing vacancy so that you attract people to apply for the same. Recruitment is announcing or putting that information out that there is a vacant position, there is a room that can be filled. So the objective of recruitment is to announce or to attract qualified candidates who have the ability and can be able to provide or to meet the goals of the organization. So you find that recruitment normally has got either can be done within the organization, that is called internal recruitment, or it can be done generally, allowing even the external guys to apply for the same particular job. So that takes us to those two major sources. So what you will need to look at is the sources of recruitment. That is, where do we get candidates? from internal sources and from external sources. Now, what are the circumstances? My question to you is, what are the circumstances that lead an organization to opt for internal recruitment? What are the circumstances that lead an organization to opt for internal recruitment? That's what I'm putting through to you. Now, again, another question I'm putting to you. What are the benefits or advantages of relying on internal recruitment? What are the benefits or advantages of relying on internal recruitment? So you need to be able to take a look at that. So those are the things I want you to think about, all right? External recruitment is hiring from outside there and announcing your vacancies to the outside world. There are various methods that could be used. To facilitate external recruitment. Now, I want us to look at those sources. I want you to tell me the sources of external recruitment. I want you to tell me some of the sources of external recruitment. Ian, talk to us. What are some of the sources? Ian, are we together, or you have upped yourself and left? Caroline is gone. Oh, morning, Ian. How are you? Alice was here. She's gone. Let me hear from you guys. What are some of the sources? Jen Sarah, what are some of the sources? You can write them up there. Can put them, Yeah, I can see you are working candidates. Yeah, working. Yeah, people who just got jobs when you just went and they were given the job, Any more sources? Job websites like this one I've just shown you here is a very important source. Referrals, good. Referrals, yeah. That's a good one. Yes, learning institutions, these are good. Advertising from newspapers, magazines, or online adverts, these are good. Very good. So those important sources are very important. They are very good for getting the right candidates, getting the right candidates. Mm-hmm. Good. So that's very good. So what you need to know is about each and every source, is some of the advantages and disadvantages as relates to those sources. So the sources you mentioned there, always find out what are some of the benefits associated with them and what are some of the limitations. It's always good to take a note of that. So we look at some of the questions that relate to that particular area. So let's proceed on. Advantages, selection process. Selection, step number 3, selection. Once you have clearly identified and recruited, then now you have to select. Now, selection is about getting the right candidate. Getting the right candidate who has the qualification to perform the specific job. So what you need after you got all, like you get maybe 10,000 applicants. Now, how do you select? You select based on the minimum qualification criteria, like the job that I had indicated to you. Anyone who does not meet the criteria placed there will automatically be will not be shortlisted. So one thing that is important, people will be shortlisted based on minimum qualifications. In that way, you find that you can get the right candidates. You can eliminate so many people who have no qualification, who does not meet the minimum qualification criteria. Another thing that could be used are there are some organizations that give forms or application forms which have to be filled with the required information, and those forms can be used to eliminate those who have no qualification. Then another way to select is through interviews. You can have a panel to interview people, and mostly you find that there are criteria used to handle such interview processes or sessions. And then there's also a way of selection which is based on experience. For example, one needs to have certain skills or abilities and experience. And those skills, abilities, and experience can be used as a way of eliminating or getting the right candidate. Another method could be use of oral tests, or sometimes written tests, which is given by the interviewing process. So those tests, when one is required to make a certain grade to be able to be chosen or to be able to be selected. Today, there are some organizations that offer psychometric tests. These are mostly testing people's skills, people's abilities, people's reaction. And normally they are done even prior to going for face-to-face interviews. Now, the key thing that you need to remember about all these methods of selection is some of the benefits or advantages or some of the challenges or limitations that are characterizing this kind of methods of selection. So what you need to know, like, for example, interviews. What are the benefits of interview? What are the drawbacks of interviews? Such kind of things. So I want you to look at those areas and make sure you are well acquainted with all those methods and some of the benefits and limitations. Now, the whole process of selection has got some challenges, you know. There are some challenges that affect selection process. This is where organization can get it right or they can actually get it wrong. What contributes to a situation where they get the selection process wrong? You can try to go through a long process of hiring and then you end up with the wrong candidate. What leads to that? So that is important to consider. Sometimes the problem may not be among the candidates that were shortlisted. It may be about the selection panel itself. Maybe they did not have the right people on that panel to get the right people to qualify for the job. Now, there are also some challenges. For example, you might get somebody who is very good on paper, but practically they have a problem. Like you find that people with maybe A-class candidates on paper, but when you bring them to the position of doing actual applying, translating what they have on paper into actuality, sometimes is a problem. So if you use that one criteria to or to evaluate candidates, then you might find yourself making a mistake. So those are specialist issues that needs to be looked into. There are some times whereby selection is affected by discrimination in terms of maybe personality or maybe racial, ethnic, and what have you. You find that a candidate is chosen not because they are very good, but because they look attractive. You know, the candidate is chosen because everyone looks at them and, oh, this person looks beautiful, or this guy looks handsome. You know, so it kind of clouds the ability of the testing individual or the panel to fairly. So there's lots of discrimination that can come, especially if, again, somebody is from a minority group and such like. And then, of course, the time and cost involved in arriving at those decisions. Sometimes you have to advertise, you have to have a panel to interview these candidates. You do reference check, you do medicals and what have you. So all those are cumbersome activities that take a lot of time. And that's why organizations don't like it when they lose employees, because they have to go through the tedious process of hiring again. So as much as possible, you might be in management at one time, then try as much as possible to retain. That's why we say that the objective is to get quality human resource and retain them. So as much as possible, ensure that you have an organization climate that leads to low level of turnover, that is reduced rate of turnover. Because if turnover is high, then even recruitment, selection, and getting new people becomes expensive, tedious, and cumbersome. And if the chances are that if you regularly recruit or bring in more people or new people, chances of getting the wrong people is very high. So therefore, as managers, you need to focus on ensuring you retain your human resources, especially those good people, those people you know that are of value to your organization. Make sure that you do as much as possible to retain them. So orientation, this is now very easy. This is somebody who has been hired already in the organization. It's just to acclimatize them to the conditions of the organization, just socializing them. What is important, give them information about daily work routines. Let them know about the organization and its operations and its products. Then provide them with workbook or the policy rule book, the rules and regulations, and they will be good to go. And also introduce them and let them know some of the benefits they may have, privileges they may have as employees in that orientation is done. Another thing, identify, let them know who their bosses are, who they are reporting to. Get them to know, get them to know their workstation, the office. If it's an office job, let them know their desk, what they will be operating. Introduce them to the colleagues, people they will be working with, and such like, and the person is well oriented. Now, what are the benefits of proper orientation? What are the benefits? That's another question to you. What are the benefits of proper orientation? Now, these questions I'm giving you, you should take them seriously. Benefits of proper orientation. Orientation is also known as induction, okay? Benefits of proper orientation. So you need to know the benefits. How does it benefit the person? So get to know them. The other questions I had asked earlier, you also need to take into consideration. Always pick them. The next step that we can be interested in is training and development. Now, training, as much as people come into the organization, they may get into the organization and at a certain level of skills. But then it's important to improve them, help them to grow so that they are improved in their skills and in their knowledge, in their understanding, in their ability to do the work. So it is the responsibility of your managers and supervisors to ensure that your team is constantly, continually improving on their skills. It's good for the organization, it's good for the person, for the employee. Now, training their approaches that can be used to carry out training. It can be through orientation, or through like we had already mentioned earlier about orientation, that introducing the person to the organization and what is being done in that company. Then, of course, developing employee through increasing their level of, that is promotion. Like we want somebody to move to a higher level job, you may give them some training and then assign them new responsibilities that are higher than the previous responsibilities. And that can be done by use of, like, a person holding a higher position can mentor people or train them, motivate them, and so that they can be able to take higher level job. Another method that can be used is job rotation, where employees who take time at various departments. Like, let's say, for example, you enter in as a public relation officer. Then you move from PR office to personal assistance office to maybe departmental manager office, my assistant, for example. Like if you're in accounting, for example, you are in finance, for example, you can move to leave finance office to go to the revenues office, to go to the payroll office, to go to get to maybe other roles in finance. Or you can move interdepartmentally. Maybe you are in finance department, you are taken to marketing department as administrator, you are taken to the maybe production department. Like most administrative jobs are jobs that can be done almost in every department. They are applicable to every department. Another method that can be used, there are limitations of job rotation. There are benefits of job rotation, limitations of job rotation. You need to take a look into that. Then we have apprenticeship training. This is whereby you make learners work as they do the job as they learn. These are it's called understudy. In fact, there's one time Donald Trump was running a program. They were airing that program on KTN, where it was called apprenticeship program. It was a reality TV apprenticeship program where those who are aspiring to be managers were given roles to be able to undertake activities related to selling and management. And the winner of that reality TV show was to manage some of Donald Trump's businesses. Now, that's where we got to know about him first and foremost. Today, of course, you know who he is. So apprenticeship is very good, a way of training people as they learn, as they work. Then we have coaching. Coaching is mostly person to person. It's more or less related to mentoring a person or training them, counseling them so that they can be able to perform the job, helping them out. So that they can build confidence and increase their ability. Then also we have acting. Acting is whereby a learner would undertake certain roles on an acting capacity, especially if the position holder maybe is on leave or maybe has taken is out for certain reasons, so they can be able to be in that position for some time. We see a lot of acting capacity, especially in the government departments, whereby maybe someone is co-opted to act as in the role of another. So this is a very good way of training people to be able to do the actual job. And then also we have being an assistant, position of an assistant. An assistant is actually doing the role but on assisting capacity, especially when the job holder is not around, or there are certain roles that are given them to perform as far as that position is concerned. So the superior, the person who is being assisted, normally help and mentor this person into those roles. In fact, most positions have been taken by those who are previously assisted or acted as assistants to the position holder. Are we together? Jacinta, wow. Today you may amua kuja class. Jacinta, how are you? Where is Jacinta? You can say hi to the class. Alice, how are you? You have also been away for long. So these are training methods that we can use. We also have, for example, external training.
Thank you.
Jacinta, you have been away for years. Welcome back. We have external approaches. Now, these external approaches involve conducting training through the use of consultants or schools or colleges or professional bodies. Here, employees are able to take maybe opportunity to improve their skills, maybe through refresher, course registration, or they can take their time to register for courses in universities or in colleges and undertake those courses. Mostly you find that such kind of learning are learner directed or the employee own initiative. However, there are programs that the organization can actually help to undertake. For example, lectures, classroom lectures, for example. You find that organization may take for a week of training their employees. At Zetech, we've had such kind of training where we taken like 1 week and for training. There may be seminars and workshops or conferences where people can be trained. Such events can be, we call them external because they are not part of the normal work activity. Employees can take time to outside of the organization to be able to train in those areas that they are interested in. So that is the training and development. Now, performance appraisal. Performance appraisal. Performance appraisal is managing employees' performance in a program. How you evaluate them, how you control the way they undertake activities. Because as much as you have employed, you just leave your team just to work. You need to look at whether are they achieving objectives, are they moving the organization in the right direction. That is a very important aspect to consider. So the purposes of appraisal, what are some of the reasons why we appraise employees? We appraise employees because we appraise employees because we want to determine how their current performance is rated, for example. How can we rate their current performance? Then also it helps to identify those employees who should be promoted or should be given raises, for example, who should be rewarded. Then also it helps to locate those employees who require additional training. Like, for example, there are those people who require additional training. through appraisal, you know that there's somebody who wants to be trained. There's somebody who wants to be given extra input in training so that their skills improve. Then also you can identify those who need promotion. Mm-hmm. There's also provide feedback. As far as we have mentioned that it provides feedback for performance, especially in the quality of job. It can also help in determining the following. It helps in determining the personnel decisions like transfers, demotion, promotion, discipline, and separation. That is another aspect of appraisal that is important. So, of course, we had mentioned about reward system, how to reward employees, where training is most required. We have already mentioned that. And also it can improve employees' self-development drive. So it can help them to, or drive them to improve themselves. Each and every time you say that, oh, you are still at the same level. So when each time you get tired of just being rated at the same level. Now, there are challenges that are associated with, or challenges or errors, mistakes that appraisers, the appraisers are not the employees. So the appraisers are maybe your managers, your team members, and such. They are the ones who are supposed to appraise or to rate the employees. Hello, sorry for a short break, okay? We were connecting a few things here and there. But what I'm saying is that those are the basic reasons or purposes of appraisal in organization. And I was trying to mention about that certain times that appraisers may commit errors or may commit mistakes and in their appraisal activities. Yeah? And this kind of error sometimes give the wrong impression or give due rewards where it's not supposed to get, give undue rewards where it's not supposed to, or punishes those who are not supposed to be punished. So some of the errors that are associated with the appraisal activities include as follows. They are very important, especially for those who are doing human resource and also for managers as such. So we have the central tendency error where people are rated the same. You give a similar range of rating or one method of rating to evaluate all the employees. That has a problem because it doesn't distinguish the differences that each and every individual has. Then we have undue strictness in appraisal, where superiors are too strict with the parameters they use. Then there is also another leniency error, whereby the evaluators or the appraisers are so lenient that people get away with mediocrity, for example. So you need not to be too strict or too lenient, but you should have objective parameters for evaluating everyone. Halo effect is another error. This is where the same rating is applied to a person each time they come for evaluation or come for appraisal. For example, if somebody had a strong point or there's some area that they performed so well, so it is the same criteria that would be used for everything, that, oh, this person, we know him as this and that. So when they make a mistake, that will be overlooked because they did something great at some point. The same happens when on the vice versa. You find that the first time you encountered the appraiser, maybe there was a mistake that you had done. But then each and every time they come to rate you, they will focus on that one mistake that you did 20 years ago to evaluate you. So in that case, you find that they always look at you from that perspective. That is the problem that halo effect tells us. That the very first time you reported late, maybe because of one challenge or the other, but your supervisor don't want to hear anything about that, Yes. So each and every time they keep on telling you, oh, here comes the late comer. Then you do, oh, this is the turn for the late comer. You see, that is a very wrong way of evaluating or taking or appraising someone, for example. Oh, no, it is now the turn of the late comer because of the one day that you are late. So that's the same thing that they keep on using. Another problem is the recency error. Now, so this happens especially when maybe, for example, there is something that you did that was not very good in the recent time, or maybe they use that event to evaluate the person. Something that you did that was not very good or was not very encouraging, then they use it. Even if you have performed so well, they use that event to evaluate a person. Another problem is personal biases. This is mostly related to ethnicity, racial issues, sex, stature, and such like. So you find that somebody may have personal issues with someone, and they would allow that to cloud their judgment when appraising employees. So you find that their bias would be instigated by the fact that they have an opinion or a feeling or a preconceived idea about a particular person or group of people. So those personal biases can cloud evaluation or can be an error in evaluation. Look at those techniques, you'll find them. I believe you have covered them. Those who cover human resource management cover those aspects, but can be able to look at them. Then benefits of appraisal. They are more or less like the objectives of all the purposes of appraisal. Like one is it's able to clear out the understanding of goals and standards. Clear out understanding of goals and standards. Then also it helps also in identifying the areas of weaknesses so that they can be worked on. Then also it improves the employees' confidence and awareness, so they are able to, they know that they can perform well. They tend to, especially if they score highly in a rating, they can motivate them to even be better or to improve. Then also it helps to come up with solution on key challenges that organization may have. Compensation. Now, compensation is the seventh activity in human resource management. Now, compensation is important because compensation is also known as reward or remuneration, or in a simple language, paying people for what they have done in the organization. This is the most important aspect as far as the employer-employee relationship is concerned, because the employer will hire a person to do work for them, but then they know at the back of their mind that this person will want to be rewarded for working for me, and they are concerned. The biggest headaches for employers is the payroll. Where is the money to pay? Like right now, because of the COVID thing, some organizations' revenues have declined or have gone down because of scaled down operations. There are companies that have, like in the hospitality industry, for example, have gone down to almost very minimal operation, and therefore they find it very hard to maintain their employees. So they have to lay them off. Look at the airline industries, for example. It's a real big trouble with the COVID thing. So you find that compensation is an area of challenge, because this is an area that that excites everyone and also bring headaches to everyone. After you have worked, the Bible says, don't sleep with the wages of a worker, you know. Once somebody has worked, pay them. And if you don't pay them, then perhaps maybe their child will sleep hungry and they will cry unto the Lord. So it is important to pay anyone who has worked. So compensation is refers to rewards or payments that individual receives in return for performing an organizational task. Are we together? Let me. Hi everyone. Perhaps I think maybe we lost some connection. And now I'm happy. I think we are back. You can hear me? Just say yes there. Say yes if you can hear me. Good. Yeah, I think there's some moments I talked there, but then the display was not moving. Okay, but anyway, I was talking about compensation and how it is important. I think I've said a few things there, but the key thing about compensation is that people must be rewarded for whatever contribution they have or they give to the organization. And the key rewards are direct financial compensation. That is, it can be in wages or in salaries. Then indirect financial compensation, that is in terms of, in addition to the salaries and wages, we have medical cover, insurance cover, leave pay, paid leave, and what have you. So those are aspects that are key and important to consider. Then also we have non-financial compensation. These tend to be intangible, like ensuring that one has got satisfactory working environment, like a job that is rewarding, job that an environment that is conducive in order to ensure one works effectively. So the aspect of compensation is very important, because I believe you have covered compensation in various areas. Unless you tell me that you have not, we can be able to check additional information about compensation. So the key thing about compensation is that reward people according to their contribution in the organization. And what are the benefits of compensation? What are the benefits of compensation, or compensating employees for the work they do? So it's important to take a note of all that. Let me check if I have the expanded methods. I think I'll have to give them to you later on. So some of the good remuneration plan or good compensation plan, one, it's a good compensation plan will make reward necessary for the service that is done to the organization. Reward that is necessary for the service that is done to the organization. Then it makes the employee happy, and they tend to relate their performance to the result that they give to the organization. 3, it reduces employee turnover. It reduces employees turnover. Where there is good pay, people tend to want to remain with that organization because they know that their best interest is taken into consideration. Then we can also see that it improves productivity. So a good compensation plan would improve productivity of the employee. Now, major objectives that we can talk about as far as compensation is concerned is that it attracts and retains the right employees. It attracts and retains the right employees. And then also it motivates them to improve performance. Then it's also a direct relationship. The higher the pay, it corresponds with the profitability of the firm. If your plans are good, it means that your performance in terms of profits are also good. Then also you can see that it provides extra benefit to employees that work harder. Provides benefits to employees that work harder. For example, those who are able to improve, especially the performance-related pay plan, they tend to reward those who are hardworking. So how do you develop a pay plan? How do you design a pay method, how to pay your employees. So in order to develop a good pay plan or remuneration plan, one, you need to look at the job description. What kind of a job is involved? You look at some of the roles indicated in a job, like the job I showed you earlier. The job that I showed you earlier. There must be a pay that will be commensurate with that particular role. What about if you get a higher level job, for example, a higher role? In other words, pay plan is designed based on the responsibilities that a job entails. So with more responsibilities, then higher pay is necessary. With more responsibility, more pay. So I'm looking for another job where we can, which for example, we might see if there is a higher pay level than the one I showed you earlier. Yeah, I've got one for finance administration manager. Finance administration manager. It has got 1,001 responsibilities. Finance administration manager. Let's see what such roles entail. I'll show you what the job description. 1,001 roles. Qualification. Bachelor in finance or accounting. CPAK. 10 years experience. Wow. So you find that when designing compensation plan, I'll show you that job later on. First of all, let me give you this designing compensation plan or remuneration plan. You look at the job description, then go through, evaluate the job, comparing it with facilities, and then with the job specification, look at the qualification of the person who is doing the job. What are their qualifications? Then decide on the total amount payable to the person. Decide the total amount payable to depending on the job evaluation of the job in terms of what roles and responsibility, what are the specific qualification of the individual. Then you can decide on how to pay them. You can decide on method of payment. Is it bank transfer? Is it check? And what have you. So the methods of compensation that we were talking about earlier, Ron. For example, I talked about wages and salaries. So under wages and salaries, we may have straight salary method. We may have straight commission method. We may have combination of salary and commission, and we may also have bonus and profit sharing. Now, those ones are based on cash, like you pay someone a salary in terms of financial compensation. Straight salary, straight commission, combination of salary and commission, a bonus, or profit sharing. Straight commission is paying somebody according to what they have done in terms of giving a percentage. If it is about selling, it's about percentage sales of a sale that they make. And straight salary is giving one a basic pay, which is predetermined and is given periodically. Bonuses is mostly when one has achieved, like for example, a certain level of performance, and then a bonus would be given them or would be paid to them as a reward of what they have actually performed. Profit sharing is where if a company has made profit or has reached a certain level of profitability, then those who participated or were part of the effort would be given a certain percentage of the profit to share out. That is mostly to motivate them. We talked of non-financial compensation like medical expenses, medical facility insurance, and what have you. Those are education of children, provident fund schemes, free accommodation, free housing, and such like. Those are you also need to remember. Now, I want you to look at this. This is a question for you. What are the factors influencing employees' pay plan? Factors influencing employees' pay plan. That's another question for you. What are the factors influencing employees' pay plan? Outline. Not just outline. At your level, you don't just state. You put some meat on them. Outline the factors influencing employees' pay plan. Or pay level. Employees' pay level. What are the factors influencing employees' pay level? One, of course, we can talk about the employees' qualification. Their level of education will actually determine. Find out the other one. There are 1,001. You can give me even 10 of the points. So put that one down and put your contribution right there and there. I think you should discuss it. Discuss that among yourselves. You can unmute and do a discussion, right? Yes, factors influencing employees' pay level or organizations have decision as far as pay is concerned. What are those factors influencing? So can unmute and do a discussion. So doing that, I'll be able to come up with the last section, and then we'll look at a few papers. Discuss that. 5 minutes or 4 minutes of discussion, right? 4 minutes of discussion. Factors influencing employees' pay level.
Hai, kuna watu huku kweli.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
One factor I know is the employee's role in an organization. Maybe the position he holds.
Okay.
Umesema kitu?
Hapana,
Sijasikia
nilikuwa
kenye
naandika.
umesema.
Sijasema.
Eh?
Nilikuwa naandika hiyo.
Nilikuwa nimetoka kwa nilitoka kwa audio venye ulikuwa unaongea.
Actually sijasema point yoyote. Nilikuwa nasikiza hiyo yako.
Kuna ingine? Unaona kama do you have another one?
Ndo naangalia.
Labda unaweza sema nini? The level of experience with the company. Maybe according to the number of years they have worked together. Unapata employee amework with the company since the beginning of the company hivi. Huyo mtu si the same na employees hao wengine.
Na nini na unaweza
Ni
sema
kama
pia
experience,
job. Yeah, experience. Alafu kuna like the job specification.
explain.
Or in terms of the qualification of the employee, like kazi yenye anafanya, the specified job.
Hiyo si ni kama nimesema role. Employee role.
Yani the same na role.
Yeah.
Yeah, yenyewe ni
Role
same.
ni kama position.
Eh,
academic experience.
alafu kuna hiyo si
Field
ni the
experience, hiyo technical.
employees, hiyo si ni level of education.
Yenye mwalimu alisema ni level education qualification
Employees qualification.
ya education academic. Sasa hapa tunaweza sema ingine the skilled experience, maybe technical experience, technical skills, technical skills.
Of the employee.
Yes.
Alafu kuna pia worth of the job, like kuna the wages and salaries tend to be higher for jobs involving exercise of brain power and creativity.
Creativity.
Like the worth of the job, does it require so much creativity and brain power? Umenielewa?
Eh,
Okay.
ingine unaweza sema
Aha.
ni ability to work under ability to solve problems.
Aha. Hebu explain hiyo. Tafadhali.
So maybe kama for example hivi question nimeuliza factors influencing employee pay
Employee
plan.
level.
So nini assistant wa manager hivi for example anaweza assistants, unajua basically wanakuanga nini
Aha.
attached. So kama huo mtu ako na the ability to solve problems for the job, anaweza ongezewa nini, anaweza wekwa kwa payroll haraka sana.
Nimeelewa. Alafu pia unaweza sema the productivity, like if the employees are like their level of productivity is high, they will get a high salary.
Hiyo unaweza sema nini, extra effort maybe, ama unasemaje? Ndio.
Ni kama tu like if the employees productivity iko juu, it result in increased like turnover for the organization, alafu kuna better revenues, so kuna hiyo watapata like a higher salary because the company yenyewe inapata better revenues. Umeelewa? Alafu pia unaweza sema like government regulation.
Yaje kama aje?
Like unapata at times the government it plays a very important role in fixing basic level of salary for employees. So it is expected that every organization to keep the various laws in account as they make those pay plans.
Na wengine nimepata ni kuna organization fulani inakuanga imesimamia workers wote, sijui inaitwaje, ni kama sako hivi kaa hiyo, nimesahau inaitwaje, but hiyo ina influence the pay plan of an employee. Sasa
And
sako,
their
hebu tuulize
government
mwalimu inaitwaje. Si government, but I think
on NGO.
si NGO, but sijui kama ni government ama ni NGO, but kuna some body ni kama KEBS hivi, but si KEBS, imesimamia employees wote kwa country.
Oh.
Kumbuki inaitwaje.
Mhm.
So hapo tunaweza sema maybe employment circles, kitu kaa hivi. Si employment circles, employee circles.
Employee circle. Yes.
Sasa hizo zingine huyo mwingine aseme. Sasa
Kuna
sisi tunaamia
mwingine hata sina point ingine sahi. I've exhausted my points.
Hi. I didn't hear you discuss as usual. What happened? You are all muted. Hmm? So
We have
employee
discussed.
separation refers to a situation where employees come to leave or separate with the organization that had employed them for the time that they were there. Separation in organization is caused by retirement. Retirement may be mandatory or voluntary. Mandatory is where one has reached retirement age. Voluntary is where one retires before reaching the retirement age. Death also separates employees with organization. Layoffs, redundancy, or retrenchment is another way of retiring people. Or discharge or dismissal, discharge when their duty is through or when they are summarily dismissed because of maybe a misconduct. Or voluntary quitting or resignation, when one decides that they no longer want to be in the organization and they decide to quit. So these are the main reasons that leads to termination or separation of employees with the organization they have ever been working with. So you find that for mandatory retirements, you have those benefits and those challenges. Voluntary, you have those benefits and challenges. And the key thing about this is to know how they impact on employees' welfare or how they benefit the employer or how they impact on society. So all those methods that we have looked at there, there are challenges with them, there are benefits of them, but all the same, they have to be there. At one point, the employee has to end their relationship with the organization. So those are important aspects that you need to take into consideration. Now, I want us to look at a few questions here related to staffing. There are quite a number. The first one, I'm going to project the questions. Let me project the questions. On staffing. Yeah, some of the questions on staffing that I want us to look at. Like outline 4 challenges that organization may face from lowering the retirement age of its employees. Are we together? Are we together? What are some of the challenges that employees will face by lowering the retirement age? If you lower retirement age, it means the employee leave the organization earlier. What are those challenges? Can we storm on these challenges of lowering the retirement age? What are the challenges of lowering the retirement age? Let me hear from you. That's good, Ian. That's a good contribution. Another point. Another point. Yes, is only Ian around. Where are the rest? Yeah, we can use those ones as answers. Like, for example, the organization may lose talented workers. The employee may have to engage in expensive recruitment activities in search of replacement. It also may demoralize employees. For example, those who are yet to reach that lower age of retirement may feel that their extra years of service may be denied. You know exactly what normally happens with a situation where people have to work all their lives in organization. They have no time to engage in other things. Yes, the company has to pay retirement benefits the company has to compensate. So there's the cost of compensating or terminating people's jobs. You have to pay the retirement benefit, especially the termination benefit. So that's a good one, Jensera. Termination benefit has to be paid. So you can add that up. Termination benefit has to be paid. Another challenge. Another challenge. Sometimes the employer or the company may be in for litigation. For example, they can be sued. The company can be vulnerable to litigation, especially those who challenge that lowering of. Company can be vulnerable to lawsuits, especially challenging the lowering of retirement age. Good trial. Let's answer this. Explain 6 external factors. Explain 6 external factors that may positively influence organization employee recruitment process. What are the factors influencing external recruitment process? What are the factors influencing external recruitment process? No, it's ask external factors that may influence. These external factors influencing recruitment process. What are they? External factors influencing in recruitment process. So here you mostly focus on the supply level of area, supply level of how available are the opportunities or qualified people out there. Of course, Competition also is a matter. Yes, very good competition. Competition. What else? Available skills. Availability of skills. What else? What else? Where is participation? Caroline, what is the answer? Give us your input. Give us your input. Give us your input. Give us your input. Mary has just joined now when the class is ending. Let me see your input. Success of competitors. Why is success of job specification? Is that external? How is that an external factor? Is that an internal factor? Employment rate. Image of the organization, yes. Image, is it external or internal? Is image of the organization internal or external? Now, is it a factor affecting influencing recruitment process? Is it that in is that a factor influencing recruitment process? All of it, eh? Yes. Image of the organization. Image of the organization is external, and organization with a good public relation is able to attract employees. But image is an internal thing. Image is built from external factors, or it's built from within, how the organization is viewed. Or you say, talk about public view of the organization. Public view, we can, it requires proper wording. So you talk of image of the organization in the eyes of the public. Image of the organization in the eyes of the general public, okay? Or you talk about public view of the organization. So you can mention those. So let's look at the next question. Outline 4 benefits. Outline 4 benefits that an organization may derive from matching employee skills with job requirement. Outline 4. I think this is the last one we are looking at for now. Outline 4 benefits of matching employee skills. Outline 4 benefits of matching employee skills with job requirement. I think this one, This one I'll put the rest on the quiz portal, okay? So that we can look at them later on privately, okay? Because I can see the time is so much escaped. So, but I'll be able to put it on the portal on the quiz section so that you can answer them in your revision, right? And make sure you answer these questions, okay? I'll be checking to find out whether you have done the questions. There are some you have answered, some you have not. So make sure you get online and try those questions, right? So these ones, the rest of the questions, they are quite a number. I'll put them on the portal so that you can exercise, you can try them for your benefit, all right? So just to check on the portal, let me go straight to the home page. Straight to the home page so that we can check whether you have done my work. Quiz for topic 1. 5 attempts. Good. This one has 5 attempts. That's good. I'll check whether good. Then let me check topic 2. Topic 2. Quiz. Revision quiz. No attempt. So you make sure you go to topic 2 and attempt the questions there. So you have not attempted quizzes on topic 2. Oh, I have not added. Or I'll add the quizzes so that you attempt them. So no, it is me who has not added the questions. I'll add them so that you can check. Topic 3. What did I say? I'm adding something. Topic 3, revision question. 3 attempts. Only 3 people have tried them. So those who have not attempted, make sure you attempt so that you can be able to evaluate you. So only 3 people have attempted. So make sure you attempt. Let me see who has attempted and who has not. Yes, only the 3. Alice, you opened, but you did not attempt. Jensera, yes. Ian Kibe. Caroline, you have not attempted. Next week, I'll give a cut the last hour to those who want to do another cut. Next week, okay? I'll give a cut in the last hour to those who want to do the cut. I'll just post it there. Or what time do you have a free time in the afternoon on a Thursday? You have a free time in the afternoon on a Thursday?
No, I have a class in the afternoon. Hello.
Topic 3, there is only 2 attempts. So make sure you attempt all these things, right? Make sure you attempt all these things. You also need to remember you are told about internal exam that might come in August or when we resume. So always just be ready, be ready. You never know, you might be asked to do it online. So get ready, and some of this work I give you to do as practice can be changed into work for evaluation. So you never know. So do them. You take a look at them. Mary, wacha kupotea. You do this work, eh? Right. I think we can end now. We can end this discussion. There are those who we are going to join another class with.
Excuse me, teacher. Teacher.
So I think for now we can end. I'll post those questions over there for your work, or for your attempt, all right?
Teacher, excuse me.
So good time. Enjoy yourselves. Eh?
Teacher, can you hear me? Hello?
So I'm quitting this conference. I'm going to another conference, okay? Some makeup, it can be anything, but mostly focus on what we did previously, all right? You have classes on the afternoon, okay? We'll find a time, eh? We'll find a time. You need to tell me what time is best for you, or else we'll do it in the last hour, eh? We'll learn for the first 1.5, then from 9:30 to 10:30 you can do it, right? 9:30 to 10:30, right? I think 9:30 to 10:30 will do it. Right. I'm off. Thank you. Good time.